Hi, my name is Rachel Adams, and I'm happy to share with you one of my favorite recipes with clams, garlic, pancetta, and scallions. They're absolutely wonderful. You can use this dish as an appetizer, or you can use it to serve along with a meal with a salad and pasta. So let's get started. So I've got about 1.5 pounds of fresh clams here that I just picked up from the store today. And I've washed them. I usually use a colander so that I can rinse the clams really well and the water can just rinse right through. Now, if you've never cooked with clams before and you have a clam that's partially opened like this clam, you want to press it together. Now, if it doesn't stay closed, that clam is not good, so toss it. Okay? Now, once again, when you steam your clams, you want to make sure they all open up. If you have any clams that do not open, then those clams are not fresh as well, and you want to toss those. Okay? So we're going to get started. Over here in my pan, I've already chopped up my pancetta. Now, pancetta is an Italian bacon. It's less salty than a regular bacon or a prosciutto. It's very close to prosciutto, which is an Italian bacon as well, but they cure it in more salt. This has a softer texture and less salty flavor. You can substitute bacon in this recipe if you like, but I really prefer the pancetta with that less salty flavor. So here we have cut up pancetta, and when I cut up my pancetta, there's also a lot of garlic in here, so that's what you see, a lot of chopped up garlic. That's probably 3 good tablespoons of garlic that I've chopped up to put in here with the pancetta. Pancetta is hard to cut with a knife, so I usually use kitchen scissors and I cut them up so that'll save you on time as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to the pan, and maybe a couple rings around the pan, and you're going to turn the heat up pretty high because we want to get this cooking. Okay, so once we're going to get those juices flowing in this pan, and we're just going to take a spoon here and get this going. We're also going to get this pan here. We're also, once these juices get going, we're going to be adding our scallions. Now I've cut up these scallions, and as you can see, I have a lot of green part that has been cut up. When you have your scallions, you'll have your white part on the end, and then there's light green, and then there's dark green. I've cut these all the way up to the dark green part. The dark green part is kind of bitter, so you want to make sure you don't get into the too dark of green part of the scallion, but please use the light green part of the scallion. It's one of the sweetest part of the scallion that you can use. Okay, so now we're going to add these scallions. I can start to hear this starting to sizzle a little bit. I'm going to get the heat up going here. Get my pancetta and my scallions. Oops, there goes my light. Sorry folks, my light has a short, so we're just going to press it right there and get it back on. Okay, so now we're going to add our onions to the pan, and we're going to get these going really, really well. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid on here, and we're going to let these saute for just a few minutes while we get that heat going and get all that flavor going. Okay, so we've been letting our pancetta and scallions and garlic and a little bit of olive oil get all nice and married together here. There's a lot of action going on here, and it smells wonderful. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our clams, and we're going to, oh, actually, I'm sorry, we're going to put our wine in here. We can't forget the wine. Okay, this is a wonderful wine that I found from Napa called Sea Ridge. They have Chardonnay. This is a Chenin Blanc. I really like their Chardonnay as well, but they were out of it at the store, so I got the Chenin Blanc. But the Chenin Blanc is just as good. And I'm going to pour about half a bottle, or we want to cover all of the pancetta garlic. We want to make a nice cover with the wine. I use about half a bottle of wine, actually. That usually comes out to about that, because we're going to steam this now, and we're going to get this all going. Once again, we're going to turn the heat up, and we're going to set our clams in this nice, wonderful wine, pancetta, garlic, and scallion mixture. We're going to set these in there. Of course, I threw out the one that was part way open. I had one that was open, and I pressed it together, and it stayed closed. So that one's okay. But the ones that don't close, once again, you want to toss those. They're not good. Okay, I've got all my clams just bathing in this nice little sauna of hot tub of wonderful flavors of garlic and wine and pancetta and scallions, and a little bit of olive oil, and I've got it turned all the way up. We're going to put the lid on, and these are going to steam for about 10 minutes. Okay, so the clams have been steaming for about 10 minutes now, and they look like they're all opened up. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the heat down, and we're going to remove them from the heat, And what we're going to do is we're going to take a slotted spoon and we're going to scoop the clams into a pan. Okay, so we're going to get all our clams in the pan, leave all the droppings in the pan so they're all nice and open. Now I do have one clam here that did not open, okay? That is not a good clam. Do not use clams that do not open, okay? So we're going to toss that one. Okay, now here we go. And there goes my light again. It just doesn't want to stay on for me today for some reason. So we'll just do that. All right, so these look wonderful. They smell wonderful. I'm just going to get them all in the pan here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a spoon and we're going to scoop up all these goodies in the pan, the pancetta, the garlic, and the onions. And excuse my fingers here, but all good cooks use their fingers. Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do is take some of the mixture and we're going to fill them right onto these little boats. Okay, have your clams open like that. Scoop up some onion, some of the pancetta, put it right on top of the clams. Okay, we've done about 3 or 4 of those now and we'll just finish doing the rest. Okay, so we're back now. I've loaded all of my clams with this wonderful garlic and scallion and wine and pancetta mixture. They all have a big heaping tablespoon of mixture on top of all of them. Okay, that look wonderful. And I just want to show you what these look like right now in the pan. Also, what we're going to do now for the final touch, I've got some wonderful shredded fresh Parmesan cheese. Now we're going to just sprinkle the Parmesan cheese on top of each clam just like this. It only takes a minute. Just put it on there. This is what really adds the topping to these wonderful, wonderful clams. Okay, so here we go. We've got our Parmesan on every one of them. A little more here, a little more here. And then we are going to stick these under the broiler. We've already got our broiler going. So we're going to take our wonderful clams with Parmesan on top and we're going to stick them under the broiler. And those are going to broil for probably 5 minutes. Okay, so our clams are just about done. We're going to take them out from under the broiler. And they've got a nice crusty top on them with the cheese, which looks good. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you about the clams, when I first put them in the dish and loaded them with all the goodies, at that point you can refrigerate them. I have refrigerated them overnight and they come out just fine. You can take them out of the refrigerator the next day and you can sprinkle your cheese on and stick them under the broiler. So you can prepare these ahead of time. I just want you to know that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to plate up our clams. Oh, they just look wonderful. We're going to get them on the plate here, keeping everything intact. Okay, it's going to take me a few minutes just to get these all on the plate. Okay, so I've got all these beautiful clams plated. Here they are. They're so gorgeous. Just take a look at that. Ahead of time, I took a baguette and I sliced up some little toast and I put a little bit of olive oil and fresh garlic and toasted it under the broiler. And we're going to pour a little glass of wine here. This is my nice Chenin Blanc, my Sea Ridge from Napa that I just love. And I'm just going to have a little taste to go along with the clams. Okay, so just have to take a taste of these. They just looked so good. And like I said, you can serve these on little plates, 3 or 4 to one person. Let's get a clam in there and all this good stuff. Got to make sure I got the clam. Okay, here we go. These are so good. I cannot tell you how good they are. Oh, And then you put one little garlic toast. They're wonderful. Take a sip of wine. Oh, my taste buds are just screaming for joy. And then you clean your palate with a little bit of wine. And there you have it. There's my recipe for clams and garlic, pancetta, and scallions.